everyone, welcome. Hope we're all doing good. This is an interesting episode today. We're going to talk about making basses from scratch and making long recordings out of them, and then, further resampling them into your tracks. So I've got an instance of Serum here, literally just default, and I also have a 32 bar long note, simply just playing F. And the reason for that is we're literally just going to record the sound that's coming out of the synth and just jam around on it. I spoke about this in my previous videos of how I make some basses, the sort of filler basses in between other sounds. Because when you record it to audio, it gives you this level of flexibility and creativity that you can't get when it's purely inside the box, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not really going to talk much throughout this. I'm literally just going to hit play and jam around with some different oscillators and stuff, and hopefully you can kind of watch that process and see. I'm not guaranteeing anything is going to sound good from this. 9 times out of 10 you get good results, but sometimes you don't. I have no idea what type of sound I want to make today. But we're just going to go for it, why not? And we're literally just going to start recording and press play. Straight away there's some really cool sounds, and that is coming from the fact that this is being FM'd from A, and again I spoke about this in my other video. You're changing the overall frequency of this sound, and so it's therefore is affecting how the FM sounds on this one. But yeah. a little arpeggiated sequence type thing there. But yeah, there's some pretty cool sounds out of that already. I think that will kind of do, to be honest. There's not really much more you can do for this patch. But yeah, we're going to make another one. I'm literally just going to mess around with a few different things and, you know, see what you come up with. That is a really cool sounding Reese. What I did there, you're probably wondering, I went into the wavetable editor, I went to process, oh whoops, and I did remove fundamental, so that takes away the fundamental frequency of the sound, which really weakens the sound. But it means you don't get that phasey, messy low end that you sometimes get with a Reese bass, and then you can introduce that back in with the sub. It sounds really mean. Yeah, let's... Cool. Stick a compressor on that as well. Nice. Similar thing to using that flanger is to just get one of the sort of flange filters. I like this one, Phase 48 Plus. I use it all the time, and just kind of fine tune it to where you want it to bring out the tones, if that makes sense. And we can take that a step further by doing some extra distortion and stuff. If we create a big EQ boost somewhere around this region and then distort it and then pitch it up with that pitch bend, it kind of distorts the area that you've got boosted, if that makes sense. So I'll kind of show it in practice. If we were to make a big boost around there, distort the hell out of it. Where's trash? I like to use trash when I can find it. There we go. Wait for that to load in. There we go. And then when we mess around with the pitch bend, you'll get even more tones out of it, because that EQ is kind of Cool. I think that'll do for that patch. Don't really need much more. Got plenty of little pitch bends going on in there. And it sounds pretty cool. I tend to just rinse and repeat with this process, you know, just get as many cool different sounds out in one little session and then kind of chop them up to how you like it. I want to go for something really screechy and like just fucking disgusting on this sound. So I'm going to get a sine wave, but I'm going to add a couple extra harmonics. And I'm going to do what I do quite a lot, and I'm going to add some vibrato to the sound, but beforehand I'm just going to copy oscillator A to B, because that way it brings over the harmonics. And I'm going to turn this one off, I think, have it an octave higher, then do some FM. But yeah, add some vibrato. Now hopefully when we distort that, it should bring out all of that sort of screechiness. If not, we'll just make it go even higher. That is a fucking cool sound. You hear the way that white noise is being moved around? That's sick. Add some pitch bend to it. I can't believe how cool that sound is. I don't know, there's just something about that. What else can we do to that? Let's add a bit of filter movement and just see. Bring up that resonance a bit. I want to distort it some more. Just get some decapitator. It's still recording, isn't it? Good. Yeah, let's distort the hell out of it. Loving that. Yeah, let's get rid of the decapitator. Try another sound. For this one, I want to show you how cool frequency shifters are. I don't know what it is, but I've just absolutely fell in love with frequency shifters recently. And they are so simple to use, and you just get the craziest of sounds from them. And I'll show you how they work. So, if we take a look at this sine wave through an EQ. Here we go. It's just a sine wave, okay? Simple. Add a frequency shifter and you'll see what it does to the sound. There we go. So just a sine wave. And pay attention to the EQ. It's literally just shifting it up and down, nothing too special. If we bring the mix down a bit, you see we now have the original harmonic and this frequency shifted harmonic as well here, you know? So you've got this extra harmonic in there. Now, okay, you could say the same thing happens when you distort a sound. So if we add some distortion to it, again, just the one sort of main harmonic, and then you're distorting it, you're adding some more. Now what if we do that with the frequency shifter and then the distortion? Because you're adding that harmonic through the frequency shifter, but then you're distorting it as well, which also adds harmonics. And that is just from one sine wave, you know. Add a couple other things in there. You see what I mean? And you can take it even further, like there's so much you can do with that. Fucking hell. That is a really cool sound. I'm sorry for having it on for so long. Your ears are probably a bit tired, but yeah, man, I just love frequency shifters. Ring Mod also does some pretty cool things. That is just ridiculous, man. Honestly, so cool. I just love distorting things that have been ran for a frequency shifter. It sounds really cool with saw waves as well, funnily enough, because they've got so many harmonics in them that you can get some really cool results from that, especially if you start messing around with different semitones of stuff. For example, this one is 1 octave and 7 semitones above oscillator A. Doesn't always work with 7 semitones, but sometimes does. I think if you stick it in 20 kilohertz mode as well, it gets even more wild because it sort of expands the range over which it works. A lot of it is just experimenting. That's why it's best to record the whole thing, because you're not going to have every sound come out of it be perfect. You know, the whole point of this is to jam around, have some fun, find something that works for you, that you can then later resample into a tune. But yeah, I think we've got quite a lot of sounds out of this. So I'm going to pause the recording here, and then arrange some drums together and stick some of these sounds over those drums, just so that you can hear kind of the point of this exercise, like, and how these sounds can then be manipulated. So I'll see you in a minute once I've done that. Yeah, so I've arranged all of these basses into 3 sort of different drops, just so that you can hear the end of sort of variations with them. So what I'll do first is just play through them, so you can hear what I've done, and then I'll go back through and explain how I've chopped them to get the type of sound. One thing to note, or 2 things. 1, I have not mixed this at all. I'm not going to finish this. This is just an example of how to use these basses. And 2, I really could not be bothered to make my own drums. I just stuck some Annex samples in. So yeah, it's kind of split into 3 different drops. So that's the first one, that's the second one, and this is the third one. Every single bass was made from that recording that we did earlier. So here we go. So yeah, as you can tell, they're pretty stinky basses. Of all of the drops, of the 3 drops in this first one's probably my favourite. So that I found this part from the recording, and I took out all the top end, because with the top end it's a bit... Oh. You hear that kind of ringing frequency, kind of gets in the way of the other bass. But yeah, I just layered them 2 up. Pretty simple, to be honest. And yeah, again, this was just another another part that I chopped out. Obviously taking the low end out on that. And then this little fill is just a chop from this Reese recording. So yeah, pretty simple. And that's just one long note when I was messing around with the pitch bend. And you can find all different sections of that recording. I can't anymore because I've made it unique as a sample, so I'm kind of stuck with that. But yeah, there's so many variations in that recording. And then the next one again is just one piece. On to the next bit. Pretty self-explanatory again. I've just chopped out a little bit from the big recording and just kind of sequenced it so that it sounds nice. And again, that Reese makes for a great fill. And then just a slightly different variation of the other one at the end, just to give it a bit more. I said it a second ago, but again, variation. And yeah, this last one was really sort of quite disgusting sounding, to be honest. Like I said, I haven't mixed any of it, so it's just so muddy and messy, but and again, they're just two different parts of this recording, just chopped up and slapped next to each other. Same thing there. But yeah, that's all there is to it, really. I've shown you how to make the basses. I've shown you how to arrange them. Yeah, hopefully you learnt something from today. I just want to listen to this first one again because I actually really like this bit. It's really catchy. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Let me know in the comments what type of stuff you want to see. I think next week I'm going to move away from bass and look at some atmospheric type stuff, because this will be the third episode in a row. Oh, my stomach's rumbling a bit there. But yeah, this will be the third episode in a row of basses, so it'll be good to get some other stuff going on. But yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all of that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.